Hello, you lovelies. It is KoiCast. It is in person. It is a good time. I am looking with my own eyes at Jake Lloyd Bacon, not through a screen. No, through the gentle haze of Southern California. I'm touching Jake Lloyd Bacon's fingertips. This is a Renaissance painting for no one but us. That's right. We went tip to tip, and it's not even Pride Month. How are you, man?
I'm as tired as you look.
I literally just filmed a video to announce we're coming back, and I saw myself for the first time, and then Jake was like, no, not on me. And this is Middle-Aged Men Podcasting.
I am thrilled to be back in Los Angeles. I'm thrilled to have Whadayagunnado in person in his lovely Fall Guy shirt.
Always repping.
By the way, we'll talk about that on the Patreon-only pod.
Oh, this is perfectly timed.
And I'm here. We did it. We have a lot of stuff that we want to talk about that might just be like insider baseball.
This might be
stuff.
The catch-up episode.
Yeah. So apologies if it's your first time listening. Thanks for tuning in. We sometimes talk about pop culture.
Sometimes we have a purpose. I didn't even do that intro because it felt more impactful. No, it was intentional. This is a special F. This is a unique first time back. It's been a year, dude.
It's been almost to the day.
So like, we don't get an intro. The people got to dive right in. This is crazy.
We're still like, we just moved back and we're still just in amongst boxes. We're in an empty room. You could probably tell the room's empty. There's probably a big echo.
There's like a sound of empty boxes.
Yeah. Like, because it's not a sound treated room yet. And so I do apologize. The sound quality might be.
It sounds better than Zoom though.
Yeah,
we were literally yelling at each other.
Especially on your rent.
I live in a room with like hardwood.
Can I tell you, you are generally loud. And by the way, I'm telling you this like you've never heard it before.
Pot kettle also.
But we also, all of us, and I say we, I mean like humanity, for some reason, we do a thing when we're on Zoom where we scream.
It's so weird. I can't stop it. I even wrote down on a Post-it note, don't yell -Zoom, like it was written from Zoom.
It was so much worse when we were like, you spent the entire episode. Yeah. So I was thinking when I went to Comic-Con, I thought that it was like, you were at that level.
I think it's because there's that like fraction of a second delay where you can't hear someone. And I think in that time, your brain goes, I can't hear them. That means they can't hear. I think it's literally a recurring loop of there's a disconnect humanity wise.
I have a different theory.
Okay.
And that is that most people, like I've been speaking into a microphone in a close proximity for almost 20 years at this point, since the first time I ever sat down to do a podcast in 2006 with friends of mine in Tampa. Like I'm not entirely used to it, as far as I don't think people in general are used to the fact that the microphone is close to you.
Right.
And I think that we see the screen at a distance and we feel like I need to speak so that this computer picks me up.
That's where the sound is received.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So if your screen is 2 feet away from you, right, from your face,
you're projecting like the mic is 2 feet.
Even though if a person was 2 feet away, you wouldn't be doing that.
Like
we all have this weird subconscious.
And there's no solving it. I've written notes. I've like practiced.
I remember.
But here we are in person, not doing Zoom anymore.
No. This is not the first time we saw each other. I got to come out to your 26th birthday. No, 36.
I was happy. I was real happy about that. I just nodded slowly. Like, I'm going to let him have this.
We're really tired, guys.
It's real rough.
Your 36th birthday extravaganza. You know that I love you because I came to the heart of Hollywood on a Saturday night.
My favorite bar is in the heart of Hollywood. And man, oh man, on a Saturday night, Jake rolling up. First time he's been in LA at all in a year. And I was very proud to see him.
We worked, both Alexander and I had work all day long that day. And then we were like, all right, we're going to LA on Saturday night at 7:00. $40 for parking. I was like, this motherfucker, but no, I love him.
I did start the party at 4.
Yes,
attempting
I know,
to
but
appease.
but
like the goal was like, I know what the ask is. I'm going to make it as light as possible. I'm going to do my best.
You did say 4 to 8, and in my mind, I literally thought like, he probably has something tonight because it's Saturday night, and I thought maybe you had like an event to go to.
What I'm trying to do is slow down at 36. So that was me going, if I'm going to slow down at 36, my birthday needs to end at 8. Like I was consciously going like, hey, old man.
Well, I knew, so Alexandra took forever to get ready, and we were supposed to leave at 6:30 to get there at 7. We didn't get out of the house until like 7:05, right?
So got there
and it took a while to get there. And I was like, by the time we park and walk to the place, like it's gonna be 5 to 8, if not after 8 o'clock. And I thought to myself, like, I just want to see the guy. It's been a year. Like, it's great. Like, and she kept saying like, we might miss it. We might miss it. And I was like, well, you might miss it because you were late. But
drop me
but
off.
I thought like, you know what? Like, even if we just say hi, sorry I missed you, crossing ships in the night, and then we went and grabbed some food.
Sure.
Like, you know, like
I'm so glad you came. It was so good to see. I literally only invited 10 people. I again, not very coy. Like I had it early. I kept it small.
Anya and I spoke about. Wait, by the way, can you pronounce?
It's like Kanye without the anti-Semitism. It's just Anye.
Oh, so Dave.
The 3 Ks are silent.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
all right, Anye.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I keep calling her Anya.
And she gets all sorts of, because I mean, obviously her name is not common, so all sorts of pronunciations.
So, anyways, I was speaking with Anye. Alexandra and I spent. By the way, I saw you and I went, "Fuck you, I don't care."
It was funny. All of that preamble you just gave her, like, it was so good to see. He gave me a hug after saying hi to everybody else. Sat down with my fiance.
Yeah,
I saw him at the end.
We just chatted.
There was another 2 hours because I think we hang till like 10. So you were
around
there like 2 hours,
change, yeah.
but it was so funny. It was like, "Hey, good to see you. Got to meet the person I haven't met."
Right. Well, in fairness, you were in penguin talk with your pals, and I was like, I have nothing to
hashtag penguin talk 2020.
I have nothing to add to this. I'm not a part of that podcast. So we chatted a lot, and she explained how, you know, like maybe a year or two ago, you would have had 50 people that you invited, and you would have been like, "Oh, these are my friends," and she would have been like, "No, these are your acquaintances."
But I've learned the difference.
And so I was, because honestly, Alexandra and I was like, because we were like, "Oh, it's his friend. It's like a party at a bar. Like, where are we going?" And then you texted me like,
individually,
"Hey, am I going to see you?" And I went, "Oh, nobody showed up." That was my thought process. Was because I was like, "How does he have time? How does he possibly?"
I love that it's more of an assumption that I wouldn't have invited less than 50 people. Like the idea of me inviting a small enough group is way more outlandish than no one showed
100%.
up.
Or that they all showed up at 4 and trickled
left.
out and
then
had
I was like,
dinner.
It's 7.
And but then you were like, "Well, fuck. Jake RSVP'd, and now I feel obligated to wait until 8 o'clock and nobody else is here."
I got all of the worst case scenario. I love that you're like, it couldn't possibly be this contained.
And meanwhile, the entire time I'm angry at her for taking too long. So
I'm really trying to reframe friendship as like individuals, and I'm really trying to make time to talk to individuals versus like, I think my insecurity growing up, especially moving to LA at 21, was if I have a lot of people that care about me, that means I'm important, as opposed to I would rather now have individuals that I care about in a two-way street. So I'm really like 36 was an interesting birthday for me to be like, I want a small birthday. I'm going to set it during the day. I'm going to invite 10 people. And 7 came out of the 10 because 3 had other stuff. Like that's a good ratio. I mean, 70% is a crazy thing for an obligation. Yeah. So it felt good to be like, oh, this was a concerted effort that responded in kind. Because then I got to actually talk to people and you got to meet my fiance.
It's sort of like the old saying, there's different ways to phrase it, but what I would put it is, I would rather be 5 people's favorite person than 500 people's 500th favorite person.
I like that a lot.
Right?
And that's what it felt like. And it's funny that Anya called me out immediately because we've only known each other 2 birthdays.
So we spent the entire time just talking about all the ways we're trying to fix you.
Oh, thanks.
That was pretty much our entire, but she's fantastic. It was so nice to finally meet her. And her and Alexandra have a lot in common. Especially because the things you and I, people listen to this podcast and they go, "Oh, they're so different." Coy and I are actually very similar.
It's the differences that come up on the podcast.
Yes, but we are very similar in the grand scheme of 100%. Human beings. Yeah. And because of that, our fiancés, in certain ways, are both engaged to the same person. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
because there's that much overlap. Right. They know how to shorthand
it comes to the fact that they're both like, let's just fucking elope. We don't want this wedding shit.
And we're both like, it's our big day.
And we're both like, I want a party.
Bridezilla. Like, we're the Bridezillas.
Well, you could say Groomzilla. That's
but it feels less authentic to me.
Oh, I don't know. All right, sure.
Because when you
I think Bridezilla sounds a little bit more sexist.
But I think when I watch a rom-com, Bridezilla's the one that's like, I have needs, and that's me.
I don't think I ever saw that.
No, just in rom-coms.
Oh, I thought you were like, I watched.
Have you seen the movie Bridezilla? No, like as a culture, I think we consider it Bridezilla a term of people that have a lot of needs about their wedding, and Groomzilla is not a nomenclature we've given.
And my argument is that is sexist.
Sexist by nature.
Yes,
but I would say by assuming it is sexist because I think it's someone that has. I
don't think we're going to settle on this. See, we're very different.
They're very different.
But so anyway, so we talked about that, but then also she did. I'm not going to say you have reason to be concerned, but at some point, I do feel like maybe I'm going to be like a Mormon with 2 wives, because she did at some point in the conversation say, when Alexandra was talking about the way that I act, Anya said like, "Oh, I love Larry David. If I could marry Larry David, I would."
She got me to watch Curb. I told you, and now I don't need another Larry David in my life. Gotta be careful, Jake.
She was talking about we were talking about something about like letting out anger and like letting out frustration or something. I don't remember what it was. And she said like, well, what do you do to like, to like let out all your angers? And Alexandra was like, oh, he just says what he thinks all the time. And then she was like, have you ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm? And that's when Anya was like, oh, I love it. Oh my God. I would marry Larry David. And I said to her, I was like, well, Alexandra's living your dream right now.
I'm so lucky that my fiance is obsessed with old nerdy guys. Like she loves old white nerdy dudes. Like Mark Ruffalo is her number one. Benedict Cumberbatch, Larry David. That's like funny. I'm actually investing in my future,
right?
Because I'm only becoming more her type.
I was gonna say it's only gonna get better.
This is the best. Like I'm like, oh, I'm worried about turning 36. She's like, bring on 46. It's like the best case scenario.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I highly respect.
I thought ahead.
But
yeah, it was really good to have a birthday that was actually catching up as opposed to crowd surfing for 5 minutes of friendship.
And you did, in true Koi fashion, you did have a multifaceted birthday. Like multiple event, multiple thing. You traveled, you had that, like you
I went to, I would have seen you.
I know. Yeah. We crossed, we were like ships in the night.
I literally told you, I think 3 months ago, I'm like, I think I'm going to go east. And then like, you're like, I'm going to come to Texas.
I was like, we should probably be back by then.
I'll see you in LA when you come back from my place.
Yeah.
But I had a great time. I was near Long Island. I didn't actually see Long Island, but I was staying in Brooklyn.
You were on Long Island.
Right. Sorry,
Brooklyn is on Long Island.
Long Island, as in like
Nassau County or Suffolk County.
Yeah, what I consider Long Island is like its property. But I was on the island.
All right, you already sound like a douchebag from Brooklyn. Okay, you're on Long Island. You live in Brooklyn.
I could see signs of Long Island, but I was staying apparently on Long Island.
Yes.
But I was staying in Brooklyn for the first time. I've never stayed there. I've been, but I've never stayed in Brooklyn, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
like I was staying in Greenpoint.
Now it is.
Yeah, it's true. It's been through some
when
times.
I was growing up. Listen,
Greenpoint's gorgeous.
I used to wrestle in Bed-Stuy, do or die Brooklyn, and let me tell you.
Different
it's
world.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Greenpoint, gorgeous. Went up to Greenwich from there. So like that whole little patch. But I like didn't realize how much New York had changed because every time I've gone, it's been for like 2 or 3 days.
Right. Sure.
I actually got to like live in it. And it was
and not work.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Or go to a con where I'm like, I'll see you a second. And it was really cool. Like the culture for vinyl is huge out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot more comic stores. I also realize what we do is maybe more not prevalent, but I ran into more people that were more excited to see me there because LA has so many people that do this.
Right, of course.
Everywhere. But like I would have assumed New York was the same because so many actors live in New York.
Yeah.
But I think the internet's actually more of an impact because everyone lives in New York.
Here's the difference. If you say the phrase the industry in LA, you're talking about the entertainment industry.
Right.
If you say the industry in New York, people go, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm a banker. I'm a fucking lawyer. I work at fucking Wall Street. I work, you know what I mean? Like, like, so that's the difference. Yes, there are a lot of, and this was my experience with living in New York, whereas like, don't get me wrong. I love New York. It's my home. But one of the reasons why I'm so thrilled to get back to LA is actually because of that. Is because like, I feel like it's a little bit, for all the stresses that the industry has, that mostly we put on ourselves, by the way, for all of the stresses and the frustrations and all the bad rap that like LA gets as being like, oh, fuck, it's fucking everybody's in Hollywood, it's fucking all industry shit. That's also kind of what's incredible about it because there's this inescapable fire and drive. You cannot escape the arts here in a way that to me, when I wasn't here, when I was in New York, it was very easy to become complacent.
Interesting.
And be like, well, I don't need to be, I don't need to write. I don't need to be creative. Like there, I don't know. Like I think I learned this past year in not being here that I feel like I really need LA, at least at this point in my life and career, to help fuel that fire of like everybody I know out here is in the industry in some parts. And while some people might think that sounds exhausting, they're not all the same. They're not all actors. They're not like, it's like, but the fact that at any given point in time, I can have a conversation about my creative process or about the filmmaking experience and have people around me understand, empathize, give opinion, give their experience, and not instead, which is what I was met with in New York, just people look at you and nod and go like, I don't understand your world.
It's literally a different language.
It's yes, very literally a different language.
Yeah.
And I think because of that's why I think
I had a really positive reception to like, I hate the word fans in this context, but when I met people that knew who I was, it was a different thing than LA.
Sure.
In LA, when I run
They're like, oh, you're that fucking guy.
Right, well, in LA, it's like a commodity. Like when I run into people out here, like let's take a photo is like an expected exchange.
Right.
And I don't mind. Like I love running into people and like taking pictures, but it always feels like I'm an item. And in New York, everyone would actually have a conversation. Sometimes I run into people in LA and it's like, hey, can we take a picture? And then I ask them about a comic or a movie to try to make it a connection. Right. And they're like, I wanted a photo. And it feels like that was the end of the... Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what I mean. But this kind of goes into what you and I were talking about before we started recording. And that is based on like where we are, where the new pod den is.
Yeah.
I do think that is because it's like you're in the center of it. Yes. Because when you say LA, I don't think people that aren't people that are in LA or are familiar, like, I think people think LA is like New York in that like, oh, there's a city there and that's where the people live. No, like Hollywood is one block.
Is what you consider LA.
And it's one block. Yeah, it's a block. And there are a lot of people who live right in that area.
Yeah.
But I'm also in LA, but I'm nowhere fucking near.
You're not around the people I'm running into.
And so there is a possibility that, if you were at, the fucking Ralph's up on Foothill in Pasadena, and you ran into
then there might be
people,
a real conversation.
It might be different.
But New York was so much of that.
Then the guy who's on his way to his audition.
Right, with a headshot in his hand.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, what is it, 97?
Yeah, and you're like, I know they didn't ask you to bring that.
They emailed that to you. It's black and white.
Right.
But yeah, I ran into...
in front of a brick wall.
Exactly.
It's literally my headshot. I'm literally describing my old headshot.
I ran into Koicast listeners in New York, and they recognized me by my voice, and it was cool to have conversations. Like one of the people at a coffee shop like heard me ordering and came around, and it was like such a cool moment of like, and we actually talked Spider-Man.
And then they saw the name on your cup, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're clearly Cobb."
I meant to talk to.
Yeah, I thought you were Coy.
This Corey guy, fuck you. But yeah, I had a great time, and I definitely had been thinking about maybe doing the East Coast, but likewise, I was only there a week. But similar to you, I do feel LA is where I need to be for the next couple of years.
I mean, it's here's the thing: is that if you go to the East Coast, I don't think the opportunities are going to be there that they are here, just because, like especially you live in like premiere land. You don't live in production land.
No,
right? You live in the shit's already done, and now we get people to watch it.
And I'm walking to an event I have after this.
That's so LA.
Right. Yeah, that only is there.
Right.
Ironically, while I was in New York, there were 3 premieres that I didn't realize, and it was so funny.
I didn't realize Barbie. Wait, no, it wasn't Barbie. Wait, what came out while we were there? There was something that came out
while you were
while we were there.
And Barbie's premiere was over there. Maybe
and
that was July. Would that have been accurate?
July of
2023.
Oh yeah, no, what?
Then it was then.
Wait, no, I thought it was. No, I don't know. Time's a flat.
Oppenheimer and Barbie were July 2023.
Yeah, we were here though. We were in LA for that.
I don't know. Because the Penguin was premiering.
There was some event that was there.
There was a Penguin premiere that was literally while I was there, and I was like, God damn, I didn't realize. And like, I know you're not watching it, but it is my obsession, so it would have been so perfect.
But anyways.
But yeah, now they're back in person. We're scheming, perhaps adding some elements to this show.
Yeah, so right now, I want to talk about this real quick. I got a desk. I
was trying to set you up for the explainer video.
We got some chairs. There's some boxes. We're in an empty room here. I want to, right off the bat, thank those of you who, I'm assuming via the Discord, saw we posted. We're starting from scratch here. Before we left for New York, we got rid of all of our furniture. Obviously I still have all of the gear. I still have the mics and all that stuff and all the electronic equipment, but we started from absolute scratch here, building the new pod space. And so I added a bunch of stuff via a highly supportive and a permanent fixture and friend of the podcast, Darth Vadad, Doug.
Angel.
He was like, hey, could you go ahead and just like add stuff and let people know like what you. So I was like, I wouldn't think to put like furniture on there, but I was like, fuck it, you know what? Sure, thank you. So those of you who saw that and who contributed a couple of things, this little desk here, you got the chair you're sitting in, Koi, like all stuff that was gifted. If you want to also help us continue to build out the studio space, head on over to the Discord. The Amazon wish list for Dragon Wagon Radio is pinned there. Or if you're not in the Discord, which by the way, get in the Discord. But if you're not, you can always just go to dragonwagonradio.com/support and there should be a list there. But there's still a lot of little things that we need, especially because the space is new. We need to sound treat this room.
Yeah.
Because it is real noisy in here.
You're
real
welcome.
Real noisy.
In speaking of Darth Vadad, he sent me a lovely birthday present. I want to give him some love. He sent me the Deadpool Wolverine vinyl, which I adore. Fun. So thank you very much, Darth Vadad.
Speaking of vinyl, this is a conundrum I have. Is the pod space that we're currently in is also going to double as our theater,
right?
which means our surround sound system is going to be up here.
So where's
in
your
the den? Because we are
record player?
We call this the den, the room that we're in now.
Okay.
Downstairs in the living room makes the most sense to be where the record
the turntable
player.
should be downstairs.
Yeah,
turntable downstairs. Are you going to get 2 sets of speakers?
So now I need another. I need to get.
Well, you'd arguably want to get a stereo speaker and a surround sound for up here. You'd want stereo. You'd want 2-channel downstairs.
Yeah. I don't. That's the thing is, I don't need something as fancy as I already have up here because I already have the surround sound.
As good. It wouldn't be like what vinyl's for.
Sure. Well, but you know that in any surround sound system,
you can set it to
2-channel stereo.
Sure. I'm just saying it's excessive for what.
Sure. But yeah, so downstairs, I need to get a whole new, like just some sort of receiver, stereo receiver, and then some nice speakers for downstairs, which is kind of a bummer because I already have some for up here. But we're gonna listen to records down in the living room space.
That's also a chiller vibe.
And it's gonna be once everything is done and paint. Oh, look, these are all the paint colors we're gonna do.
Oh, dude,
this is the palette. This is the palette for our apartment.
That's beautiful. I've lived in my place 3 years and I haven't painted, and Jake has palette. Like I love that you're immediate. Oh, also
wait. Before you said that. Like first off, by the way, this is the palette for the apartment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 colors for all the different rooms and spaces. But this is when I went to get swatches, and I was like, "Oh, I'll grab a few."
Oh my god!
This is how many swatches
You're
I
putting
got.
Swatches out of business.
This is
He's
how
got
many.
Roughly 300 swatches.
It
doesn't
fills
fit
my
in his hand.
And my favorite part about this was the young teenager who worked in the paint department at Lowe's watching me go through
every single. Do you have any swatches? Yes, hands you the swatches.
You want to know what this is? This is a supportive fiance right
That
here,
is
okay?
truly.
Because I knew that if I grabbed 3 blues, Alexandra would be like, I want to see more.
And you'd also know you'd wonder what was left. Like she'd be asking like, well, we got to go back. So you got all of the blues.
So I grabbed all of them.
That's incredible.
But in any case, but wait, before we wait, no, you
said
some vinyls.
Yeah. I also want to give some profound love to Doug Chiarello, who is Duggar, who is an absolute icon and legend, who sent me not 1, not 2, but 3 vinyls on my wish list.
Ooh.
Dude got me Tupac, Childish Gambino, and Eminem. One of
dude, the guy that Diddy killed.
Yeah, a long time ago, dude. I love that finally came out. It's like such an open secret, and now they found receipts of like what he paid the hitman.
Okay, we have to do a Diddy episode,
dude. 100%, Diddy episode because like as it unravels, 1.2 million to kill Tupac. But he got me Until the End of Time, which is ironically he didn't know this, but I had 5 Tupac vinyl on there, and Until the End of Time is actually the first ever Tupac song I heard. And it's one of my earliest memories in life. You met my mom. My mom was a big Tupac fan, and we were driving in her Camaro.
I can tell.
Yeah,
you can just look at somebody and you can
like
tell.
Pac fan, totally a Pac fan. But we were driving she was at a minor league baseball team called the Danville Braves. She was one of the like hot dog and soda girls running around. And my earliest memory, I was like 4, driving to that job of hers in her Camaro, and Dear Mama came on, and I remember thinking like, oh, my mom, he's singing about his mom. And my little young brain was just like, everyone's got a mom. That's cool. And like, it's such an early memory of just like moms. And now whenever I hear that song, obviously it's about moms, but I think of that memory as my
give
mom.
Anything for Tupac to be alive and for you to tell him that story just so that he could roll his eyes and regret
I was 4.
Exactly.
It's so precious that my first memory is Tupac.
I'm joking.
Yeah, so and then a Childish Gambino because of the internet, and then Eminem's Eminem Show. Thank you, Duggar. It means a lot. Deep August lives on forever.
By the way, you said his name, and now I'm realizing, Doug, you've been such a fixture of the program. Do we not know how to say your last name? Because I've always said Chiarello. I've always pronounced it with
Chimera.
Hard. Yeah.
And I think it's Chiarello.
I've always said Doug Chiarello.
Now you got to call in, man.
Doug.
You got to leave us a Deep August voicemail in October about your name.
I see that, and my Italian brain says that's Doug Chiarello.
Yeah? Is it Italian?
But then it would be, it could be Champ.
Right?
Chiarello?
Because Chiarello sounds like
Anyways,
it sounds like a name.
Right. So
Duggar, call us, let us know your name.
So the other thing that I need, which I might get your help for, because I know that you get this question a lot because you have very good DVD shelves.
Oh yeah. Oh, I got you. I'll set you up.
So that's what's going to go in that closet.
Oh yes.
So if you go, I mean, I don't know if you could reach it with the headphones on.
I can. Let's try it.
Do the slide. Do the slip slide away. We've got space. Listen, we're in person. We want tactile stuff. Oh. So that's the overflow. But that's the overflow. But the other side. So that side of the closet's like our winter stuff. But then the other side, that's going to be where the media lives. So that way it's still accessible and it looks nice. But what I want to do is I want to pull it forward so that when you slide the
Make
thing
it
open,
flush, it's a reveal.
Yes.
Put some lighting behind it.
Well, that's the plan. And also then behind it is permanent storage.
Right, because you'll never see it.
Stuff that we don't need. Yeah.
Or like winter clothes you swap out once.
Exactly.
So I got shelving for you.
Because I want it to be narrow.
Yes.
Because that's what I need. So
it literally is the thing I have. It's just the width of Blu-rays. That's it.
But wait, aren't DVDs a little bit taller though?
Do DVDs you
fit?
Adjust the height.
Okay. So
as in width of.
Oh, you mean front to back?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Width for the actual stand.
Width when you're looking at the Blu-ray. Gotcha.
Because you're talking about where it's going in the closet.
Yeah.
Width it's perfect.
And how tall are they?
My jaw.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I need. You have to send me those?
Yep.
Because I need to get
I'm so proud of my physical media rack. It's so beautiful.
I need to get, because right now I have them on those deep shelves and they're double stacked, all the DVDs.
That doesn't count.
And I want to just have when you open that, I want it to just be the wall.
Profound.
Right? I also wouldn't mind it going up
Have you not been in my apartment?
Yes, but very briefly.
Okay, that living room when you walk in, that's the big wall of Blu-rays. So
I feel like I've seen it in your videos more than anything else. But anyways, so yeah.
Now that you're back.
So we're still settling in. Long story short.
That's what this episode's about.
We're still settling in here.
It's just me and Jake catching up.
It's been a whirlwind of a year, but we're back. We're really doing it. It's really happening. And we have to catch up. Current unpunchable gift horse of the month for the month of August, Echo in the Mirror, who is back to back. I know we have got to get to your picks. We are late on selecting a September gift horse. We'll do that at the end of the episode.
Also, we're now in person again, so we might go back to filming either more often or filming like batches and stuff. So I want to know from you guys, is there a format you guys would like us to throw in the mix for the long form? Like today we've just been unprompted, no news, hanging out. Like I don't listen to a lot of podcasts that are pop culture based. I usually listen to stuff that are like interviews and stuff that isn't this. So let me know what kind of thing you would want to hear as we're kind of rebuilding in person, because the show's going to change inherently because we're not on Zoom anymore. What do you guys want?
Speaking of pod stuff, the podcast, for some reason, the audio version is now on YouTube. Just the audio version. Let me tell you this brief nightmare that is my life.
You can press play. I got
an email that I ignored for months over and over again that I did because Google Podcasts would just constantly be like, oh, you need to re-verify your email, even though if you didn't do it, everything would be fine. The podcast would still live there. And so I thought it was that. And randomly a couple months ago, I think it was at the tail end of New York, I opened it up just to clear out the Dragon Wagon Radio's inbox. And it was like, Google Podcast is shutting down in September or in August.
Whoa.
Google Podcast does not exist. If you would like your show to remain listed on Google Music, which is where all the podcasts are now being imported to, then the only way to do that is to set up your RSS feed for your podcast, blah, 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 blah. Here, it's YouTube. So you literally have to submit your show as a YouTube podcast.
Wow.
In order to have it on Google Play or whatever it's called, Google Music, right?
Yeah.
And so even though I wasn't thrilled, now the show is on, Dragon Wagon Radio has its own YouTube channel, and all of the Dragon Wagon podcasts, for the most part, are all on there in podcast form. But here's the thing is, you know how much of a perfectionist I am.
Now you want video.
No. Well, that's a side thing. But it takes our podcast art, our little square from Apple, from all the different places. And it just makes that the static banner for every single episode. Okay? So when you look at it, you can see the title, but it's just all of these square. And by the way, it's a square in a rectangle. So my thought process was, well, let me go back and at least make a thumbnail for all of them, right? So I went back and I started to make a thumbnail for one or two of these things. And I realized how much I disliked it when if you saw something and you went, oh, I want to listen to this episode, and you clicked it, once the video, quote video, whatever, the podcast that I'm playing, it still just reverted back to our regular thing. And I thought, well, there's got to be a way to fix that. Cut to a month later, and I have been working because, Coy, as you know, this is not the only podcast on Dragon Wagon Radio.
Nope.
20 different podcasts, some with hundreds and hundreds of episodes. I went back and recreated thumbnails for every episode in a 16:9 wide format.
Oh my God.
Had to add those wide format thumbnails to our original raw data of every single podcast I've ever produced over the course of the past 7 years for this network, 8 years, whatever it's going to be. I want to say almost 2,000 episodes in total. And And then I had to go in and re-import all, because I had to delete the ones that I previously imported to YouTube, re-import everything so that it all looks right. It's in the right order and it's presented in a way that's nice.
Listeners, please become patrons because the amount of work behind
oh
the
my
scenes.
God, dude, between this, Palskies has been going on since 2014.
Dude, a decade of Palskies.
There's also other shows that are on, like, that even if ones that ended, that like the
still
like
hundreds of episodes.
Yeah, they had 100 and like, why not have the back catalog available for people to listen to?
Guys,
especially
check out
because
YouTube, like some videos,
because like there's like, it's one of those things where I don't care about I'm so not in that world that you're in. But also, if we've done the work and people might enjoy the thing that we made, I want to do that. And we've had my friend Krista, who had her show I'm Fine on the network. We've had John Lovitz on the network. We've had, all of these great comedians and actors and
comic writers and artists.
Yeah, on our own show, on Dad Would Spy, we've had some great people. On my show Elaborate, I've had some great people.
Devin Sawa.
Yeah, we've had, exactly. And so like we literally, like, I was like, I might as well make thumbnails with these people on them.
Yeah.
That way people know that. I got so in the weeds. I got so behind on my actual paid work.
Redoing the unpaid
because
work
I can't
back.
because I'm such a perfectionist and I could not let it be.
That's so
Alexandra was like, "What is wrong with you?" There were literally nights where I would let me finish this, and I'd be at my computer, like just making these wide thumbnails and switching and loading up one by one. And I had this whole system where I had like my two monitors, and I would open up like 50 episodes at a time in different tabs.
Yeah, and reframe.
So that way you didn't have to keep clicking to open up a new episode. So I would just go like open a new window, open a new window, open a new window, open a new window, and do that 50 times. And then I would go to one of those tabs and I'd upload from a different screen.
But how much did your OCD love having a system? Like, you must have, there was probably a part of you that was like, I hate setting this up. Oh, I'm in flow state for 20 days.
I fucking loved it.
Yeah, exactly.
I fucking loved it.
The joy in your eyes of describing 50 tab opening of you click, drag,
and then I could close it and it goes to the next one. Dude, and I could just do that. And I had a system.
iTunes album covers back when you had to like manually make album covers for mixtapes. Like when,
you broke my heart.
I
had the most organized iTunes.
100% same.
And
I had the right covers for everything. Yep. I had like the right names, the right fonts.
Every single thing was organized
my
to the date.
Was dope.
And then I lost my hard drive.
Oh,
and it all went bye-bye.
Guys,
and by the way, I never went back to iTunes. I made the switch to Spotify at that point.
That was the thing.
Because I was like, I don't want to do all that work again.
No, it's heartbreaking.
And also a lot of that music was lost because I only had it digitally.
Yeah.
A lot of
albums
but a lot of it, because I also, what did you call it? Ripped. That's what it was, not burning. I had ripped every single, because you could put a CD and import that into your iTunes. So every CD I owned, which is still a lot,
that has the file.
Nope, because it was all on I only had iPhone.
I've got an 80
and what I did
iPod that has all my stuff.
I at this point probably only had iPhones, and I wouldn't sync my entire iTunes library to it. You'd only sync the stuff you wanted on your iPod. Anyways, you just brought up some hard memories.
Yep, these are dark times. But yeah, we're long game. We might be doing video stuff. We're scheming ways to evolve.
We'll have a nice setup here to do it. Whether or not it's like a patron only thing, or whether or not it's just like part of the main pod, or it's with Palskies, we do a live show that's exclusive for the patrons.
That's what I'm thinking, is that'd be kind of fun to start there.
Do something like that.
Yeah.
The thing with that is like it's only live when we're recording, so it's not a regular live event. It's not like when the episodes come out. You know what I'm saying?
Can you watch it again later?
Yeah. Okay. You can always go back and rewatch it.
So in the Patreon, they'll have access to.
We could do that, or we could just make the podcast a video portion, which is not live, but it is just a thing that when it drops, it also goes on video.
And that'd be the main pod like we're on now.
Yeah, we could do that as well, because I don't edit these anyway.
Right. Yeah, no. Not a thing. That defeats the purpose. So yeah, we're scheming, guys. So head on over to Patreon. I think that will grow as we do this, and now that we're in person is going to be a bit more time, because it's going to be like, getting here and all that stuff. So all of you guys keeping this alive is very appreciated.
You have to drive.
I've got a quest,
but it's still worth me not having to deal with you dealing with tech.
100%. I was thinking the same. Driving here, there was like a 35-minute drive of me going well worth this.
Do you still use the stuff that I gave you before I left? For other things?
I don't use the mic.
Okay.
Bring the mic
bring
back.
that back. Bring whatever you got that you don't need back.
Okay,
the rest of it, I could donate to you.
But yeah, we're rebuilding. So this episode I thought would be kind of fun just to catch up. Do we want to pick a gift horse?
No, I want to go to Hotline.
Oh, yes, of course. Let's check them out. You guys, you're the co-hosts, 818-794-0722. Let's hear who we got.
Hello again, Coy and Jake. This is Doug from Pittsburgh, or Darth Vadad on Discord. While Coy was celebrating his 36th birthday this past weekend, family was celebrating my maternal grandmother's 90th birthday.
Wow.
She was 16 when she had my mother, the first of 6 children. She only agreed to a party if we promised not to give her any gifts. While I was there, it occurred to me that 2025 will be DC Comics' 90th birthday. Other than a great Superman film, what do you hope DC gives us for their biggest year ever? Personally, I'm hoping for more great stories from Tom King. Might be the closest thing there is to a can't-miss creator in comics today. According to my 15-year-old, Mr. Miracle is big on social media of late. What would you give to see a Mr. Miracle movie or TV show? Thanks, and have a great week.
Darth Vadad, by the way,
Crushing it.
I also noticed that he said you guys also say miracle weird.
He's another. I didn't even notice because that's he says it like I do.
He says like miracle.
He says miracle.
Miracle.
Mr. Miracle.
Well,
he
now
says
you're
it like
saying
I
it
do.
right. But you sometimes say like
I say miracle.
Yeah, something weird.
Mr. Miracle.
I don't know.
I got like so shamed. I don't know which way it was authentic.
Anyways, happy birthday to Darth Grandmom.
We can do better.
The grandmom?
Emperor Mompatine. Because
But you have to put a grandma.
she's the
in there.
matriarch.
I know, but you have to put a grandma.
Grandpatine. No, that's like grandpa. What's like mom in the Star Wars universe? Like Leia?
I think she's just burnt to a crisp, right?
Yeah. Oh, so sorry. Yeah. He was just going out to refresh his, what's it called at the station?
Um,
Darth Vader asked about Mr. Miracle.
Wait a minute. I'm on to something.
You got it?
I'm on to something.
What do you got?
Grand Aunt Mamadala. No, something like that.
It's a stretch.
I mean,
there's an M in there.
I had it. And
then as soon as you said it out loud, I saw you doubt yourself every syllable.
Went away.
Like your eyes got darker every syllable. Like Mamadala.
Yeah. What's her name? Now I'm
Mamadala.
Okay, there we go.
So like Mamadala.
Mamadala. That's what I was trying to do. But I was trying to get the great Grand Mamadala.
Grand Mamadala.
Yeah. Grand Mamadala.
Yeah, that's great. But the way it came out the first time was there's too much doubt. Grandmama Dalla sounds like a great rapper.
Like I said, I don't edit this.
Like 80s vinyl bars for days. Grandmama Dalla.
By the way, I found out while I was in New York that my childhood best friend Jen, miss you Jen, love you Jen, her kids call her grandma Jeepa.
Gangster.
And I was just like that. I was like, Jeepa sounds like a fucking rapper.
Sounds like she drives a Range Rover wagon.
Jeepa.
Grandma Jeepa.
Well, yeah, no, it's grandpa. Her
Grandpa
father.
Jeepa.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jeepa and Jima.
That's awesome.
But I'm just like, Jeepa is such a great name.
I don't even have kids yet. I want to be a Jeepa. That's awesome.
Anyways.
Support that. Speaking of, I keep going back to vinyl. I found out you were a White Zombie guy in their early stages of ish.
You know, the one album that I like.
There's
you know, like
two amazing. Anyway, Astro Creep and Les Exorcisto. In between that, there was a live album they did Halloween in Vegas in '95.
That's fun.
There's only 300 pressings of it.
Ooh.
I found one in New York. I found a one of 300 pressings
really fun.
of a White Zombie album from '95.
God, I'm so upset I didn't do more vinyl shopping.
Unopened.
Wow, brand new
From '95. And like I held it like the Holy Grail, and like it was one of the biggest finds I've ever made as a newly vinyl guy. It was amazing.
That's insane.
Darth Vader asked about Mr. Miracle.
And the anniversary for DC.
And happy anniversary, DC. It is crazy. It's been 90 years. I don't know if it's more crazy because it's only 90 years, and as in like there are people older than DC, or the fact that it's been 90 years and it's still as prevalent. Like the number 90 is crazy in two ways.
Yeah.
But Batman is like 85 this year, I believe.
No, it was 75 like 2 years ago.
Yeah, totally.
How long? Wait, was that really that long ago?
It's 85 this year.
It was 10 years ago that they were all of that shit on Olive and Burbank with all the 75th anniversary.
You were gone a year.
That was yeah, and I lost
and
9.
You lost 10. It's like cat years. I'm vaguely sure it's the 85th anniversary of Batman.
Wow, I feel like we just had that, like, because in LA
it was huge
when the 75th anniversary happened.
That's when the Batman went up in Burbank. I think that was for that.
No, because that Batman went up only a few years ago.
Okay, let's see.
That Batman has only been up since like 20, because we went in the pandemic to see it for the first time in 2020. Because there's a photo of you and me in our masks in 2020 when that went up.
Batman 85th Anniversary Collection is out on Blu-ray celebrating it. It is Batman's 85th birthday, August 2024.
Crazy.
So yeah, 85 years, 10 years ago. But Mr. Miracle casting, I actually recently saw, and this is so funny because this is going into my other side of work, but it's so silly how much people follow James Gunn's social media now because he's so public that he followed Adam Scott, and everyone was like, oh, he's someone, and everyone asked me who he should be, and immediately I was like, Adam Scott free. I want Adam Scott Free so fast. He's perfect.
I don't know. Listen, I'm reminded of one of my favorite lines from Party Down that Lizzie Kaplan says to him as his character. And that is, "You are a little runty pup." And I feel like...
but that would make Big Barda...
Like, you're not wrong about that.
That would add so much.
But I don't know. There's
He's so demure.
He lacks a little bit of an edge that he's just... I don't know. I always saw Scott Free as kind of...
As Scott Free.
He's too jockey. I need somebody in the middle.
Oh, I think he's a theater
I've got
kid.
Jake. No. Yep. He
looks like a jock, but he's such a theater kid.
Yeah, but listen, look is important.
Okay. Excuse me. Let's judge books by their covers.
I have the same problem about Jake Gyllenhaal as Scott Free as I did about Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Just
remember my argument about
so upset.
About like we have so few characters.
And as a bro, I'm like,
yeah, my kind. We have so few good rogues.
Adam Scott's not. He's too much on the spectrum.
No, he's too nerdy. Yeah, he goes the other way.
Okay, got it.
I need somebody who's a little bit cool, a little bit more edgy.
Who's your Mr. Miracle?
I mean, I told you this. My answer to this is always somebody that doesn't, that doesn't exist yet because I don't know who they are.
Those unknowns selling movies left and right.
I mean, honestly, like.
I think Mr. Miracle is too obscure for an obscure name. I think you need.
No, I know, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm also bad with finding people that are kind of in that space, but it definitely needs to be somebody who's got a little bit more of an edge to them, who's a little bit more like they could be jockey in the sense that they could obviously we want them to be like fit and attractive and sexy and all that stuff, but like has a little bit of like a, like just kind of a rock star vibe.
Okay.
Just like I know I see him as kind of like he's kind of a rock star.
Yeah,
but
especially
in the wrong ways.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
You don't know if you trust him.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm struggling to pull.
Okay. All right. We'll think about it. But Tom King's run, I agree. Yeah. Vadad, Tom King's one of those writers that also, I can count on the book being great. You said like, oh, what do we want from DC for a 90th other than a great Superman movie? Do you want to know what I think they should do for a birthday? Because you brought up Tom King and how fucking great he is. Like, I would love DC to get on the fucking train that Marvel's been on since the Disney acquisition. There is so much non-narrative. There's so much unscripted documentary work. The 616 series that I was on. Like, there's all of these things that Marvel has where it's like, here's all about the creators. Here's all about, like, I want documentaries. I want shit on WB. I want like James Gunn's definitely that guy.
I want like
to like get to green like that.
I would love a mini series about like here are the most prolific DC creators of the past 90 years. Like it's like where every episode is about a different person. Like that. Everything that we got about like was it Batman and Bill? Was the name of that documentary? The one about Bill Finger? I think it was called Batman and Bill.
You're right.
Like we had to have somebody who wasn't even associated with DC to go make the greatest DC behind the scenes story
John
documentary.
Schnapp's Death and Search of Superman, man. Like
that's a little bit more niche.
But I'm saying like that for creators.
Yes.
Like something where it's a deep dive into something to journey through.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
And Mitch Gerard's Tom King would be fucking great. Yeah. Like I'd love to see the two of them spotlight with Mr. Miracle, and then obviously Tom King's taken over Wonder Woman in a big way, and his Batman is great. He's also on the board of DC Studios.
Oh, really?
Tom King's actually like in the...
Oh, he's in the room?
Yeah, in the room where it happens. We're back. But yeah, Tom King is actually part of that board, and I think that's going to be a huge asset to James Gunn to have someone that's in the know on the comic side of that scale. Because I think even Marvel was missing that, where they'd be like, I think Donny Cates was going to be that for Sony, and then Sony's now like, we don't know what we're doing. Because it seems like they're shifting in a big way, and I don't know if you heard, they cast their Hal Jordan DC this week.
Oh, what's his face?
Kyle Chandler.
He's I like him. He's got a good look for it.
I would never have put it together, but as soon as it was said, I had to process. I love it. Like, Coach is such a good vibe for a benevolent, older, not evil Hal Jordan.
No, yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, so I'm really curious who Jon Stewart is now that we have practically real life Nathan Fillion Hal Jordan as Guy Gardner. Right. I'm really curious who Jon Stewart's going to be to balance all that.
Right.
But yeah, I love this call, Darth Vadad. As ever, you're an angel, and happy birthday to your grandmama Dala.
Hey, Coy. Hey, Jake. This is Gilbert up in the Bay Area, and I'm just calling because I just want to respond to something you said on one of the most recent episodes of Coycast. Jake, you said that the addition of the bone clause was very stupid and dumb and didn't make any sense. And I'm not saying I disagree with you. In fact, I do agree with you nominally. However, we can't start pulling at that thread. If we do, the whole of comic book physics and biology just falls apart. I mean, two of my favorite characters shoot beams of heat and concussive force out of their eyeballs. And another one sticks to walls because he was bitten by a radioactive spider. And none of this stuff makes any sense if you apply real world logic to it, so it's best to just pretend it makes sense. Yeah, but other than that, the question I had was about comedians. I know you guys have talked about comedians you like Bill Burr, and etc. My question was, are there any younger comedians you're following? Maybe some you discovered on Instagram or TikTok that maybe you started finding clips for. I really like Josh Johnson. He's also a correspondent on The Daily Show, but I found him on Instagram, and his stuff is always a lot of fun. He had a whole 30-minute breakdown of the Kendrick and Drake beef, and I thought it was really fun and informative. Yeah, but he's just a lot of fun. So I was just wondering, are there any others you like? You guys have a good week. Bye.
All right. Gilbert, we're fighting. You're completely wrong.
You can pull some threads.
Yeah, you can't just say like, oh, we can't talk about the Blunt Claws because then everything falls apart. No. This is what works about good like fantasy, sci-fi, blah, 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 is that like you are always allowed a magic bean.
Singular.
To think that I'm upset that he has bone claws, but I'm not upset that he can heal.
Different.
Like that's
different.
Like
also, the idea is that the eyes in Cyclops are made genetically to withstand the concussive blast, whereas the claws are an addition that doesn't function. One magic bean.
Yes,
like
exactly.
The eyeballs, magic bean.
Yes, exactly. You always get a magic bean. That's the problem with Superman. Too many fucking magic beans.
Too many beans.
No. And DC in general. Happy 90s.
A lot of beans.
But yeah, no.
I hate your choices. Happy.
You have to. You can't just say like, well, anything makes sense because none of it makes sense.
Right.
Like that doesn't. Then that's how we get movies like Venom. Okay,
he's not wrong. As much as I enjoy him, he's not wrong. I'm not gonna like. I can't come back to that.
We need to raise the bar for our kind.
Fiction
Otherwise,
needs to be within a realm of plausible deniability.
Listen, the jokes about Marvel are becoming more and more prevalent in all of pop culture, and they're starting to become far more accurate than they were 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, if we don't start to cherish what we have, we will lose it. It will be taken from us, Gil. I need you to raise that bar, buddy. I need you to raise that fucking bar, and I need you to fucking pole vault straight over it with me because we
have standards.
That is where the standards lie. Anyways, yeah, I can't talk about comedians because I actually
don't know a lot of young ones. I'm old now.
Yeah, I mean,
there's the new Daily Show correspondents that are great.
Don't find any comics on TikTok. Go to stand-up clubs. I understand that that's how they're getting work, but it is
the way now.
But it's also the reason why stand-up is dying is because people are getting super, super famous via TikTok famous with the one crowd work moment they did, and they don't have 15 minutes, and then they get booked on a show because they sell out tickets,
and they can't
carry a crowd for more than 4 minutes, and then everything is bad. But
and then they're claiming they're the first crowd work only show, and then comedians from the 80s are going, and comedians from the 70s are going,
and then Ian Bagg is going, bitch, hold my beer. Okay, you want a comedian to look up? James Acaster. There you go. Boom. Look up James Acaster. He's one of the greatest fucking comedic minds of our generation.
And if you want another one to look up Mark Ellis, just because he's lovely. And I love him to death. He's a homie.
And that will do it for the hotline. Hey, once again, tell people how they get their hands on that hotline.
You can call us at 818-794-0722. That's 818-794-0722. Knew there was a 2 in there after a 7. Put it in the wrong order. 818-794-0722 is how you become a co-host of this very show. You can also email us at contact@koicast.com. Before we get out of here, though, we got to crown a horse.
We do. I want to say one last thing about the hotline is that Coy butchers that number so regularly that if you kind of like how I just butchered the word regularly.
It's going great today. We're real tired.
You can always find that number on all the podcast episode art.
Also, koicast.com is literally every bit of data you can hope for.
Yes, all that stuff.
So if you're ever like, what did he say? Koicast.com.
All right. So without further ado, it's time to spin the wheel. Our wheelonames.com, not a sponsor
yet.
I don't think they have any money.
No, probably not. It's a free site. There's no way that's just
they could pay. if you're not sure what this is, well, you got to head on over to patreon.com/KoiCast. Become a patron. Every single tier helps us out. Anything you can contribute will allow us to continue to do this program. It does take quite a bit of time, and Koi and I both live in a very expensive city and have jobs that do not pay very well.
Correct.
And we love doing the show. We want to continue doing the show, but the harsh reality is neither of our women will allow us to continue to do it if we don't make at least a little bit of money.
They're holding us to standards that are fair.
So your Patreon dollars literally keep the show going. Please, if you're listening to the show and you have not considered it, please check out patreon.com/KoiCast. Become a patron. There's so much stuff there available for you, including a patron exclusive podcast.
Every single week, we dive into all of the TV, film, sometimes plays. We literally just discuss the arts weekly, and that might soon be coming to video. So it is at minimum 3 each, sometimes as many as like 7 things each we watch. So we're talking 6 to like 20 things an episode, and there are literally hundreds of episodes. So if you want to math that, 6 times hundreds, that's 6 of hundreds. So head on over to Patreon. Also, Jake, I didn't realize how much my math skills vexed Jake's mind until my birthday. That was a highlight. Actually, a literal highlight of my birthday was Jake being like, "Why is Koi good at math?" Because I didn't realize it was so affecting.
Oh, it's so annoying.
But yeah, how many episodes we had?
Of the POP?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh God, I accidentally rhymed. It was amazing.
There it is.
Are you down with POP? Yeah, you know me.
Subscribe to Patreon.
You get it?
G-Pop.
You guys remember that song from the 90s?
Yeah.
80s. We are on episode... that's not our show. Hang on a second.
Uh-oh.
That's PWP. Great. We are on Patron Only Pod this week, number 204.
204. So they're at minimum 1,224 reviews. Minimum.
All right. So anyways, that's all that. We kind of sidebarred this whole gift horse thing into
That's
just a big ad
huge
for
plug.
Patreon.
Huge plug. We don't do
But
ads. We do ads for us.
The highest tier of that Patreon, our gift horses, are entered into a monthly contest to decide who is our official unpunchable gift horse of the month. And that person gets to pick an item they're choosing from the shop over at dragonshop.com. And you get to add something to Koi and I's watch list to discuss on the aforementioned Patreon-only pod. So without further ado, let's get that wheel a-spinning.
Who gets a shirt or a mug? Who gets to pick a thing?
Right. And the official unpunchable gift horse of the month for the month of September 2024 is Marco Tunstill. Marco Tunstill. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right there. I think this might be Marco's first.
I think it's first time.
First time being a gift horse. Marco, thanks for your continued support of the program. Please keep your eye on your email. We will send you a message there to the email you have on file with Patreon on how to claim your winnings and tell us what you'd like us to watch.
New equestrian.
Over on the old POP.
Yes. Congratulations, Marco. Excited to hear your pick. I believe that is all the business for today on the regular KoiCast. If you're a patron, keep your eyes peeled on this week's patron-only pod. We're excited to dive into it because there was the first time since we started the POP gap because we had to deal with some chaos. So we're back. We are now in the same state, so things will be running smoothly adjacent as best we can henceforth. But that'll be this week. But until next time, dear KoiCast listeners, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much to you and to Comic Books for existing.
And thanks for your patience.
And thank you know it's a good time to thank them for their patience.
Yeah, because
for our first gap.
Yeah, it's been a
3 weeks.
It's been a bit.
It's been a bit. It's been more than normal. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being patient, and thank you as always to Comic Books for existing. We'll see you sooner than it's been. Ta-ta.
If you're enjoying this podcast or any podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon shop. You can tout your podcast pride while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. Make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com. Get your dragon swag on.
It's Dragon Wagon.